Hey everybody, welcome back to Mr. A's Geometry course. Today we are starting Unit 12, which is all about three-dimensional measurements. Let's get into it. Unit 12 starts with a lesson on solids and their cross-sections. So what is a solid? A solid is just a three-dimensional figure. It's bounded by flat or curved surfaces that are typically called faces and bases. We will talk about the difference between the two soon. There's several types of solids as we will discuss in a little bit. An edge is a portion of a solid that is typically a segment or a curve formed by the intersection of a bunch of faces. And then we have vertices, which are just like vertices on two-dimensional shapes. They're just points. So a vertex is a point where three or more edges are going to meet. Here are some visual representations of the things discussed here. So a solid three-dimensional shape, the dashed lines represent something that's in the background that you would not be able to see if this was solid and not see-through. Our faces are those two-dimensional shapes that make up our three-dimensional solid. So as you look at this, you could say this is made up of 6 rectangles. Each rectangle we could call a face. Right, the edges would be the sides of those two-dimensional shapes, which again are typically going to be shown as segments in our 3D solids, and then a vertex is a point. It's just any corner on your 3D shape. We're going to discuss now all the types of solids that we're going to go over here in Unit 12, starting with prisms. Prisms are solids where there are two congruent shapes that are connected by a bunch of rectangles. Okay, and so those rectangles we would call the faces of these solids. So as we see the triangular prism right here, well, there's really just two triangles there connected by a bunch of rectangles, 3 rectangles. Since there's 3 sides on the triangles, there's 3 rectangles connecting. Here we have a square prism. So there's a square up front, there would be a square here in the back connected by 4 rectangles. And we have a rectangular prism. We have a certain type of rectangle right here. There's another rectangle, the same exact size and dimensions in the back, connected by other rectangles, being the faces of the prisms. Okay, as we look at some different types of prisms, those bases can be any shape. Okay, so the bases are always going to be congruent figures, and they're going to be unique compared to the rectangles that are connecting them. The only exception to that is a special type of prism that we call a cube. And a cube is just all squares, all of the same dimension. In other words, all the edges would be the same length. So if I have a cube, this edge is 4, this edge is 4, this edge is 4, every edge is 4, then there's no unique shapes and every face of that would be congruent to each other. The typical prism though, we will not have all shapes being congruent, only the bases are going to be congruent. So pentagonal prism, we have a pentagon in the front, pentagon in the back, 5 rectangles connecting. Hexagonal prism, there's a hexagon on the opposite side, rectangles connecting them. An octagon on the opposite side, 8 rectangles connecting them. So all bases are going to be congruent and opposite of each other, and they're going to be connected by rectangles for our prisms. Another type of figure that we have that's similar to the prism is the pyramid. The pyramid is going to have faces that are all triangles though instead of rectangles. All the faces are triangles, all those triangles meeting at a point called the apex, but the base is going to be unique compared to all of those faces. It could be a triangle like all the other ones, but most of the time it's going to be a different type of triangle than the faces. And obviously we have other multi-sided shapes that don't have 3 sides to be our unique bases for the pyramid. Okay. Then we have the cylinder. Cylinders are kind of like prisms, all right? Except instead of bases being unique shapes, the bases are always circles. And the face is just going to be a rectangle that connects those circles together. So if you think about just a piece of paper, you can roll it up into like a can shape, into the shape of a cylinder. You have a circle on the top and bottom, but the face of it is just that paper, that rectangle that you have. So cylinders have bases of circles, faces are rectangles, and then the cone is like a pyramid, except we have a base that is always a circle for our cone. Always a circle for the base. The face of that cone, if you were to open it up, would actually look like the sector of a circle. So it's not a triangle. The face is actually a circular sector. And then lastly, we have the sphere. There are no bases or faces on a sphere. There is no flat surface involved in this solid. It is perfectly curved. There are just circles everywhere that you look. It's a circle for your sphere. One skill that we have to have for our solids is very visual. We have to be able to see and describe cross sections for solids. A great way to think of cross sections is to think that your solid is just a piece of cake, and then we're just going to cut it open in some way, either vertically, horizontally, so like parallel to the bottom, or perpendicular to the bottom, or diagonally. And then we're going to open it up and see what kind of shape exists where we cut. Okay. The specific, though, explanation would be that cross sections are created by the intersections of a solid and a plane passing through that solid. Or again, we can think of it as a cake and the knife just cutting that cake open. So here we have a prism and we have a blue plane there that's intersecting that prism. And what we're talking about with our cross sections is just what part of the solid is touching the plane. Okay, and we can see that's here in dark blue. That cross section is a triangle. Right, here's some more visual examples of how cross sections are going to be presented to you. We have solids and we have planes intersecting them. Some of our planes are parallel to bases, like these four are parallel. Some of our planes are perpendicular to bases. You can also think of these as horizontal or vertical cross sections. And then we have some general rules of thumb here that we can memorize. Any cross section that is parallel to a base is typically the same shape as the base. For example, we look at this, we have a pentagonal prism. This cross section is horizontal or parallel to the pentagon. Therefore, the cross section would be the same shape as the base, the pentagon. It would be a cross section of a pentagon in that example. Another general rule of thumb, if your cross section is perpendicular, or you can think of that as vertical through the base, then it'll be the same shape as a face of that figure. Okay, so again, as we're looking at this pyramid here, we have a cross section now that's vertical or perpendicular to the bottom. So the shape here is actually going to be the same shape as the face of this and not the base, the face being a triangle. That cross section would be a triangle there for that pyramid. Okay, then if we have something that is like diagonal or so on, then we're going to have cross sections that are in shapes that have an equal amount of sides that are intersected by the plane that is doing the cross section. Here are some more visuals to help you out here. We have a cross section that is parallel to the base. We could assume this is a square pyramid. So the cross section would also be a square, the same shape as the base. And as we look at the red dotted here, that could represent a perpendicular plane going through the pyramid. That cross section would be the same shape as the face. The face of any pyramid would be a triangle. And then we have some interesting ones. Like, what if that cross section is perpendicular but not going through the apex? Or what if it's like diagonal, not going through the apex of it? Well, then the answer there is your shape is going to have as many sides as there are faces and bases that are intersected. So if you imagine a plane coming through like this, it would touch this triangle, it would touch the triangle in the back, the triangle in the front, and the base. So it was intersecting four faces and bases combined, therefore it's going to be a four-sided cross section. Okay, then the visuals really come into play there. Okay, on those four sides, are they perpendicular, giving us a rectangle? Are they not, giving us something like a trapezoid instead? And that's where visual skill really comes in with these cross sections. Here is the skill that we have to have. We have to be able to determine or describe the cross section that is created when we're showing a figure in a cross section. Here we have a pyramid. We can assume this is a square pyramid. We have a plane that is parallel to the square, parallel to the base. This cross section therefore is the same shape as the base, and we can kind of see it there. That dark outline given to us matches the shape on the base. We can say that this cross section is parallel and therefore the same as the base, which is a square. In our next example, we have now the same type of pyramid, kind of a square pyramid, but we have a vertical cross section now. So this has nothing to do with the shape of the base anymore. Now it has to deal with the shape of the face of our pyramid. And you can kind of see it outlined there in darker gray that we have a triangle as the cross section here. So here we have a perpendicular cross section resulting in a triangle. Now we get to the imperfect cross sections. So we don't know if they're parallel or perpendicular. We don't know at what angle are we crossing through this face and then getting to the base. We don't know if it's tilted a little bit or not. Okay, so for this type of cross section, the best way we can describe it is as diagonal. And then from there, the shape we know has four sides. So at the very least, we can say it is a quadrilateral as a cross section. Now, if we're doing a little bit of assumption, like maybe we're taking an end of course exam and we have options to choose from, and quadrilateral is not one of those options, and your best guess might be a trapezoid in this one. If you think about the faces of the pyramid, looking at this triangle, right? It starts wide, and then our width of the triangle gets thinner and thinner and thinner all the way up to the apex. So it's safe to assume that this distance right here is not the same as this one, right? That length is not the same as the one that's at the bottom of this, and therefore might be a trapezoid if these are parallel to each other. So again, it's just looking out for the options if you're taking a standardized test. Otherwise, if we have to be as exact as possible, we can only say quadrilateral for an example like this. Our last example here, we have another imperfect cross section going through here, and this one we can't even see through like our other ones. We don't have the dashed lines or anything. So we have to think of ourselves here. Anytime we have a cross section that's diagonal, our amount of sides on our cross section must be equal to the amount of faces or bases that are being intersected. For example, this square right here is definitely being intersected by the plane. So is the top, we can see right there. So is the front, we can see right here. Then we can assume that the bottom is as well, right? Because underneath this, we have this square on the bottom that the plane's going through. It's also going through the backside of our prism here. And then we can tell even from this that it's going to be going through this side on over here that we can't see. So all 6 sides of this solid are being touched by the plane. Therefore, the cross section must have 6 sides to it, and we call those hexagons, right? Any 6-sided shape is a hexagon. So again, we have a diagonal cross section here resulting in hexagon. Big picture things to remember. Parallel cross sections will be the same shape as the sides or that the cross section is parallel to. So most of the time those are going to be parallel to bases. So parallel cross section, same shape as the base. Perpendicular cross sections are typically going through the base, and those will be the same shape as the faces of your figure. And from there, if you have diagonals or you're not quite sure, just know any amount of faces touching your plane, your cross section will have the same amount of sides as that amount of faces does. This wraps up our lesson on cross sections. Remember, this is a very visual thing. I think the best thing that you can do for yourself with cross sections is to practice a ton. You can go to places like Khan Academy, like IXL, where you can get practice questions and quizzes and showing you figures like this and giving you options to choose from. And the more and more you do it, the more you visually understand how cross sections work with your solids. All right, happy studying, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.